Well, let me shift here. I want to get to the Democratic side because there is news this week happening on the Democratic side. You're going to have two candidates, it looks like, get in the race who want to run against Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders is going to do this in Vermont on Tuesday, Martin O'Malley in Baltimore on Saturday. It's interesting. I'm looking at these two, and look, let's stipulate Hillary Clinton is the most formidable frontrunner we've seen in a primary probably ever. Very tough to see anybody beating her or coming close. But that said, when you look at the non-Hillary competition, I think there's some real energy behind Sanders right now that I'm not seeing behind O'Malley.
There's a weird, strange new respect phenomenon happening right now. I feel like it's the same people who said, like, you know, that Dennis Kucinich guy is interesting. Like, if you remember that round. There are people who kind of like Sanders for his consistency. I think those people, by and large, have no idea what that consistency actually entails, and that getting to know Bernie Sanders better is not going to win him the hearts of the American public. But there's a chance he's the next Ron Paul. There's a chance he's the outsider that energizes young people.
There's an authenticity with him, a frustration with the system. I think there's something there that connects with. Do I think it's enough to beat her?
I think
very unlikely.
The next Ron Paul is probably a really great way to frame it. I mean, I think that he definitely can capture some energy from people who are equally frustrated. He has a character, much like Ron Paul, that is that people you can find endearing on some level even if you don't agree with him. And a lot of people, I think, don't know his exact positions. Just sort of think of him as always over, kind of like to the left. I think I like that.
And he's
but they know he's upset with the system, and he wants to basically blow up the system. Robert Costa, what do you think of that comparison, though, of Bernie Sanders, Ron Paul?
I think Sanders could actually be a more potent political figure than Ron Paul. When I was in Cedar Falls, Iowa this week following Secretary Clinton, there was a group of about a dozen college students outside, all supporting Bernie Sanders. There was a group of labor organizers outside holding signs pressuring Clinton on the trade deal and very disappointed with her lack of a stance. There is a movement, especially in a place like Iowa, that even Clinton allies acknowledge. Bernie Sanders could get 35, 40, maybe even 45% if it becomes a grassroots movement. He doesn't need to win Iowa, but if he can show in Iowa, then he goes into his neighboring state of New Hampshire, and he could become a problem.
There it is. I mean, that's the thing. It does set up. It's interesting. Those first two states, at least Iowa with the populist grassroots, and New Hampshire right next door to Vermont, northern New Hampshire sharing the Burlington media market, starts to make you say, what if a little bit? We got months for that, though. Anyway, the Washington Post, Robert Costa, thank you for getting up early this morning. Appreciate it.